You are live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Girl Cave. So
Girl Cave.
who get out of my girl cave. So who's in the cave with us? I see 3 people. Who's in the cave with us? Get out of my cave. Anybody in the cave? Anybody in the cave? Well, we're going to talk about washing your Camaro today. So are the 3 people in the cave? Oh, there's Linda. I was going to say, are the 3 people in the cave boys and they're hiding? Hi, Linda. I brought Addie with me tonight. She's in the cave. And of course, we have to bring the pink Camaro. Charles, you have seen me clean wheels. Don't act like you haven't. 3 hours worth of cleaning wheels. I'm not afraid to clean wheels. All the way to the center of the car. Hi, Megan. I have to cook dinner early on Girl Cave, where Andy goes hungry. Can't have Andy go hungry. It's so funny to see what the girls are doing when they're on Girl Cave on Thursday versus how the guys are watching. I do take my wheels off when I clean them, like deep clean them. But when I clean them like on the road, I don't take them off. I've even been known to take the seats out, like completely out. Oh, Charles is washing dishes. Oh, Charles, that's a keeper. Lucky wife, lucky wife. Do you cook too, Charles, or just do dishes? Andy cooks. He's not that great at cleaning, but Andy does cook. He's a pretty good cook. I don't know if he grills, but he's pretty amazing in the kitchen. He's a pretty good cook. Hey, Gypsy. Good to see you tonight. All right, guys. So obviously we don't keep these cars looking as wonderful as they do by just driving them around and not doing anything to them. They get taken very well care of and washed all the time, although I will say that we did put them away dirty a couple of times last year because we got back so late, and the weather was not that great. So they did get put away without their teeth brushed and their blankies. quite a few times this last year, and we felt really super bad about it. And it doesn't make it any easier when you go to get them out the next time around, and they are not very clean at all. So, rule of thumb is when we bring them home, they get cleaned, they get fueled, and they're ready to go. They get put back in the garage, covered, and that way they're ready to go for the next trip out. Um, we don't typically like to put them away with buggies on their front ends or dirt all over them or any of that kind of stuff, because then it just makes it that much worse when we have to take them out the next time that they go out, especially rotating through four of them, because it might not be the very next time that we go out that that car gets to go out. So it might have to rotate through several trips before it gets to go out again. And then we're like, oh God, this has been sitting for a while. So we go through quite a rigmarole to get these cars cleaned and ready to go, and then cleaned and ready to go back into their cave and under their covers and ready for next time. So washing the car. This is nothing to do with what we're going to talk about today. Has nothing to do with detailing. This has nothing to do with deep cleaning. This has nothing to do with clay barring. This is just everybody has been sending us messages, especially now that the two different versions of the Panther have come out. Everybody has been asking us, how do we take care of the paint on these Panthers, most specifically the matte paint. So I wanted to just kind of address all the different surfaces that might be on your Camaro. There's, excuse me, several different surfaces that could be on your Camaro. You can have a matte surface on your Camaro, either if you own one of the Panthers that has the matte paint, or you might have matte stripes, or you could have a wrap on your Camaro that has a matte surface. You could have ceramic coating on your Camaro that has to be treated differently than if you just brought your stock Camaro home. You could have just your stock Camaro that has just the gloss paint on it. You could have a combination of those things on your Camaro. You could have vinyl on your Camaro. Your Camaro could be completely vinyl. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could be going on with your Camaro. 2024, there's just all kinds of things that can be done with these cars now. So we're going to talk about all those different surfaces and what you need to do if you have those surfaces to keep them clean or to get them clean. So, different ways to clean them. I'm sure somebody out there takes their Camaro through a car wash. I do not. I don't know anybody personally that does, but if you do, please don't. It's not a nice thing to do to your Camaro. But should you do that, then that's for you. Just they don't make them anymore. You can't trade it in a couple of years and get a new one. So please try to take better care of it. It's going to get older, and then you're going to have to be repainting it. It's just like your skin. There are certain things that you just don't want to do to your skin as you get older because you don't get a new skin. So your poor little Camaro can only be painted so many times and have only so many mils worth of paint on it before you have to have the whole thing sandblasted down to metal again and start over. That gets super expensive. So why not just clean it correctly and don't take the poor little guy through car washes? So that leads us to the other ways to wash your car, which are power washers. You can get those in an electric version or gas version and have them right in your home. Or you can take it to a hand washing bay where they have the little power washer things where you put the little quarters in, do it yourself, which is right next to that horrible car wash that you drive through. Or you can do the bucket wash. You can do that at home, or you can also do that in those bays. We do a combination of both. um, that's my preferred method. We have a power washer and also we have a bunch of buckets and we also use the bays. So those are the methods that we prefer and the ones that are out there for you. Choose the one that works best for you, and you can get power washers out there in all kinds of different powers and sizes, and you can get them to travel, you can get them in big ones, you can get them in little medium-sized ones, get the size that you want. The one I have one that we did travel with, and then I have one that we keep at home that it can travel, but not in the back of the Camaro. We'd have to take a truck to travel with it. So be very careful with the setting that you set your power washer to. You can actually I've done this. I'm talking to you from experience. You can actually blow the vinyl right off the side of like a U-Haul truck, right off it. Just take the vinyl right off the side. Those pretty little pictures of the dinosaurs and stuff, gone. So imagine what that would do to the paint on your car, or God forbid you have vinyl, the vinyl on your Camaro. So be careful with the settings that you use. It's got those little plug things, those colored plugs that you plug into okay, so those are different pressure points. Know your power washer before you get started and choose the right one. We have a favorite bucket that we like to use that has a rock tray in the bottom of it. Guys, if you don't have a rock tray or you've never used a rock tray, get a rock tray. You can buy it for the bottom of your existing bucket, or you can buy a bucket with one already in it. Adams makes an amazing one. I think you can go to AutoZone and different places like that and buy a little tray that just slides right into your bucket. What this does is it keeps all the debris that your rag or your sponge picks up when you're going and then dipping and then going and then dipping. It comes off when you squeeze out. And instead of going back onto your sponge, it falls through the grate and then goes to the bottom of your bucket and doesn't go back onto your car. It's a pretty cool trick and well worth spending the money on to put in your bucket. And if you don't think it works, go find somebody who has one and try it out and look at the bottom of your bucket and see all the stuff that's in the bottom of the bucket once you're done washing, and you will be a believer. It's a pretty cool trick. See, Gypsy has one and she says it works. You don't believe it until you actually see how much stuff is in the bottom of your bucket, and you're like, "Oh, I could have put that right back on my car." You could, and it would scratch and do all kinds of crazy stuff, little tiny rocks and pieces of leaves, and it's a great. You see, it's amazing. Gypsy says it's amazing. So get one of those. Well worth the $5 or $9 or whatever it is to save the paint on your car. So fun little tray to put in the bottom. All right, so let's just jump into it. Matte paint. With all of the Panthers that are out there now, the ZL1s, and anybody who has matte stripes on their car, if you want to keep that dull look, you want to get a soap or bath for your Camaro that is going to protect that dullness. Does that sound like that's like weird, right? You want to protect the dullness. You want to protect that dullness by finding a product that is wax free and pH neutral. There are a lot of products out there that do this, that don't specifically spell it out on the label for you. They don't say, use this on your matte car. They've been out there for years, and y'all just didn't know it because the matte look wasn't popular, but they are out there. So either just be really good at reading labels to figure that out, or buy the products that say this is for your matte car. Find your favorite product. Try a bunch of different ones if you don't have a favorite one yet. Talk to people who have matte cars. Visit with your person who does detailing for you and find out what other people like to find out which one is going to be your favorite. and then stick to it. Don't change your product over and over and over. Stay with one product. Find your favorite product and just go with it. This is going to keep that kind of dull look to your matte finish. Um, it's really hard to get that matte finish look back once you've ruined it. Um, so be very careful not to gloss up your matte because that's something that's very hard to ungloss. There's a lot of tricks that people are talking about out there. They're like, oh, you use dish soap or Windex or all this crazy stuff or alcohol. Those are tricks that are used in shops to try to help bring that matte look back if you've damaged it. Let me tell you this. If you're not good at it or you've not messed around with it before, um, please don't try it on your brand new Panther or your whole car. Go get somebody to let you borrow some vinyl or a surface that's painted in that and play with it. Because if you spray Windex or alcohol or something like that onto your brand new Panther ZL1 and you don't get that off fast enough, it will leave a burn mark on your surface that stains it because you've got to get it on there and off of there quickly or on there not real close. There's a trick to this. This is not an easy process. So if you don't know what you're doing, please don't start off on a brand new car. Try a surface that's not important to you. So you don't want to get these burn marks on your car. Um, that they do work if you know what you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually do more damage than you can do good. So get the products that are made for people that are not trained to do it. So get the products that are made for everyday use. If you're not really sure what products to go with, talk to the person who knows how to do these things. Talk to somebody who does car detailing. Talk to somebody who does ceramic coating and um, things like that to cars. Tell them how much you use your car. Tell them how much you're going to be washing the car. Give them the honest truth of how you're going to be treating that car so that they can give you the best product that is going to help you keep your car looking the way that you want to do it. I can't I can't stress that enough. You have to be honest with your professional because your professional will give you the wrong advice if you don't give them an honest depiction of what you're going to be doing with the car. um, Removing wax. So if you're going to go all the way with this car wash, if you're going to not just be doing a daily car wash, if you're actually going to strip the car down, clay bar it, get it really good and clean so that you can put a real good wash on it and then put a nice wax to it, and you need to give it that kind of a wash, then that's where Dawn and the dish soap and all that kind of stuff comes in handy. If that is all you have available to you, knock yourself out. That will work. Mix some Dawn into your favorite car product and go for it. I like to use degreaser. I have a favorite degreaser that Adams uses, and I pour a little bit of that in with my Adams car wash, and that strips everything off the car. It's amazing what it does. And then a good clay barring and holy junk, like it's amazing how much stuff comes off the car. So that is a good way to get the car ready for clay barring and then ready for a nice good cleaning and wax or paint correction before you go to put some wax on it. If your car is ceramic coated, you're not going to be doing any of that. If your car is already taken out and ceramic coated, you're doing something completely different. You have to get a wash that is made for ceramic coating. That is a little bit different. It has a high volume of lubricating agents in it, which helps keep your ceramic coating nice for you. And you also want to use a very soft, like microfiber rag when you're washing your car with the ceramic coating on it. Don't get a big old nasty sponge. So either one of those mitts that has the little microfiber fingers on it, or a nice microfiber sponge or rag. Don't use a sponge because the sponge will pick up a bunch of stuff and or dry up in little places and leave. Believe it or not, the ceramic coating is very susceptible to little tiny scratches. So you don't want to use things on that when you're washing it that will cause little micro scratches on it. So be careful with that. Again, talk to the person who put that coating on the car for you. Tell them how much you're going to be driving it. If you're daily driving it, just taking it to shows, it's only coming out on the weekends. It's only going out to, every couple of months, whatever you're doing with it. Let them know, be honest, so that they can give you the right product. They might even give you a second product to put on after you wash to upkeep your ceramic. um, your matte paint. Let's go back to that because I forgot to tell you about your matte paint. With your matte paint, you also don't want to use a sponge. You want to use a nice, soft microfiber rag with that as well. Don't use a sponge. Sponges are really popular. Everybody is always like, "Oh, can get my sponge in my bucket." That's probably the worst thing you can do to your paint surface. There aren't very many surfaces that you want to use your sponge on. It's great for your wheels. It's great for some of the plastic areas, your engine bay, things like that. But don't use it very much on your paint. So good to have. Most definitely buy the sponges and keep them around for other surfaces on the car, but not your paint. um, Normal paint surfaces. So your stock paint, you just came home with your stock paint and you've never done anything to it, just gloss stock paint. Find a great wash. I like my Adams shampoo for my paint on Onyx. She's not stock paint anymore. She's been repainted a couple of times and she's got airbrushing and stuff on her, but she has no fancy like matte surface or any crazy thing like that. She is just a gloss paint. It's a softer paint that's on it now than it was from when she came home from the factory. So I am a little careful with her, but she still is just a normal paint. And we like just the normal Adams shampoo on her and a nice soft mitt. We use a nice soft microfiber mitt with her, and nothing real special that you have to do on that paint. So the other thing that troubles most people is hard water, well water, and things like that. If you're going to a wash bay, most of the water in the wash bays will tell you that the water has been put through a filtration system or it's soft water, and they'll usually tell you if it's not. It'll say that the water coming through the system is hard water or whatever, and that you have to beware of that. In most instances, it's not. It's treated water. So or you have a rinse system, like you can turn the dial to a rinse that is the really nice water. So your final rinse gets to be that really slow moving water that comes out because that water is filtered. You definitely want to make sure you take advantage of that at the end to get all the other nasty water off. That water has no minerals or any of that crazy stuff in there that leaves the yucky stuff on your car, which makes it really hard to get your car dry. and dry without having a bunch of residue left on it. Should you not have the opportunity to have that water, or um, you're at home and you have well water or hard water, there is no magic anything that you can put in the bucket to help you stop that from going onto your car. I wished I could tell you that there was a way for you to stop that from getting onto your car, but there's not. The only way that you can stop that from happening at your house is to put a reverse osmosis system on your entire house, which includes your hose coming out of the outside, which most people do not do. The hose is one of the places that most people don't pay the money to have that happen. It usually only happens inside the house. So, in the instance that is your situation and your water is like that, and in New Jersey the water is like that. In a lot of places in the country, you have well water, so you have to deal with that. I know in Oklahoma the water's like that. I know in a lot of parts of Texas, the water is like that. If that is your situation, as is for most, there is a trick that you can use. Well, there's a couple of tricks. Some of them are more yummy than others. You can either wash the car in sections and dry it in sections. That is absolutely horrifically no fun. Or you can, like I said, put one of those systems on your house so your water comes out soft. Or this is my favorite trick because you can do it anywhere you are. When you are done rinsing the car off, blow the car off with, sometimes the car washes have these. They have the little hose where you can pull it off and blow all the extra water off the car first. You can blow all the water off the car and then immediately spray the car down with detail spray. I have 2 detail sprays. I have one detail spray that is at its normal strength. Yeah, leaf blower, shop blower is actually get the little small shop size one, not the big leaf blower one, because who wants to put a big, huge yard size leaf blower in their Camaro? You can get a little shop size blower. They're just as expensive, but they are smaller and they usually are a little bit more powerful. They're great. I got Andy one for Christmas. He went nuts. He went nuts over that. I think over anything that he got. He was so excited. But it fits really nice in the Camaro. Blow it all off. Put the detail spray on the paint as soon as you get the surface as dry as you can with the blow dryer, with the dryer. And like I said, I have 2. I have one that I keep at full strength to use exactly as it was meant to be. I have one that I put water in, not the water that we're trying to get rid of, the dirty, bad water. I actually go get distilled water. And I keep a bottle of distilled water inside my little car kit. And I fill up 2 parts of the detail spray, 1 part water, just to dilute it a little bit, make it a little bit thinner. Spray it all over the car. And it keeps the car a little bit lubricated while you're trying to dry, so that when you're drying the front, the back hasn't dried up with all those little white spots, or vice versa, whichever way you go. And the lubricant from the spray keeps it a little bit wet and moist, so that by the time you get to the back, you still have a wet car to dry. So those are the tricks that you can use if you've got hard water or well water and you don't want that, because let's face it, guys, when you get to the back of the car or wherever the end of your drying cycle, you've got all those little white spots where the water used to be, and now you feel like you have to rewash the car in order to get those spots off. And sometimes it's really rough to get that stuff. It's like salt. It's gross. But that's what it is. It's minerals. It's a bunch of minerals and junk that are in your water. especially if the sun was your enemy and beating on the car. I try to do all that while I'm still in the bay, but if you're in a car show situation and you've got 32 Camaros sitting in line behind you trying to use that wash bay, you got to wash and you got to get out of the bay because you got to be a good Camaro owner and let the next car come in. So you're washing and pulling out right into the direct sunlight with no cover to help you out. So that's the best thing you can do to help keep that from happening to your baby's paint. Another tip that I have for you is while you're washing, this isn't wax on, wax off when you're doing anything on the paint for your car. Pick a direction, pick it the first minute you meet your car, and stick with it. So you either rub her from front to back, top to bottom, back to front, figure something out and stick with it. And if anybody helps you, that needs to be the first thing you say to them when they come over to help you. If they're like, "Oh, let me help you dry your car off," say, "Oh my God, that would be great. She likes to be rubbed from front to back. Please do not rub her in circles. Please don't rub her up and down. She gets rubbed from front to back. Every single stroke you make, please make sure it goes from front to back. Otherwise, you get all kinds of weird little micro scratches, and your micro scratches are going all over the place. At least if you're putting micro scratches on your baby, they're all going in the same direction, so it's a little less noticeable. So I know that seems kind of anal, but it is what it is. I mean, if I'm going to have little tiny scratches, I want them all going in the same direction. And if anybody is gonna jump in there and try to help, then that's where I'm at. I know I'm super, super picky too, Gypsy, but I do have Andy, and he, I can't tell Andy no, and so we make sure that if we're working on each other's cars or helping each other out, we're going in the same direction. So importante. Let's see, what else did I have in my notes? Hang on. Guys know I have notes. I'm always with notes. Wrapped cars. Wrapped cars pretty much are going to follow the exact same instructions I gave you for the gloss cars or the matte cars, depending on what kind of surface your wrap was. But you need to be a little more careful and very gentle with your washing and your rubbing, and most certainly your power washing, because it's not paint. It's a gigantic sticker that's stuck to your car. So be very, very careful with seams, edges, and anything like that. Also, with any kind of decals or anything that's on your car, if you have stripes, or like the 56 edition that has all the different stickers all over it, the Panther edition that has the stickers and the cutout for the Panther in it. You got to be very careful of those surfaces, because if you hit that too hard or rub it too hard, you can, challenge the integrity of that, and then it won't look like a Panther anymore, or the corners will start to come up on the edge of the stripes or something. So be careful with your vinyl. Another trick, if you have a light colored vinyl like white or silver that's not printed, if you have the fun Chevy printed vinyl or hash marks that have the Chevy emblems in it, don't use this trick on it. The Mr. Clean bricks that you use in the kitchen and in your bathroom, those work amazing on the white vinyl. So any white vinyl that you have, the hockey sticks, the stripes, any of that stuff, that'll get those super white again. If they're starting to yellow or do anything weird like that, that works amazing on those. So good trick for those. Wheels. Wheels are never fun. Wheels are never fun. Wheels are something that Some people like to do first, others like to do last. Find out where you like to be in that. I like to do my wheels last. I like to get the whole car washed first, then do my wheels, and then do the final rinse for the vehicle. Never, ever, ever use the same rags, sponges, bucket of water, any of that on your wheels that you use on the same rest of your car, which is why I like to do my wheels last. I like to wash the entire car first. And I don't think I need to tell you guys that you wash from the top of the car to the bottom of the car. You want to do that because the bottom of the car is going to be the dirtiest because it's closest to the road. So if you wash the bottom of your car and then start moving up to the top of the car, you're taking all the rocks and the grime and the tar and all that stuff that's on the bottom of the car and moving it up to the top of the car and the sides of the car where it never got any of that stuff in the first place, and you're now scratching and moving it all up to the top. So always wash it from the top to the bottom, and usually the back of the car is the most dirtiest. So wash your car from the front to the back. Which everybody is going to start yelling about buggies and telling me that there's all kinds of nasty buggies and stuff on the front of the car. So why would I start there? You can spray your wheels. This is why I like to do my wheels last. You can spray your wheels and the front of your car with, there's two separate things. You can use a wheel cleaner that you can spray, which I let sit on my wheels while I'm doing the rest of my car. You can also spray before you get going your headlights and any of the rest of the lights, the whole front of your grill, if it should be covered in it. We use masks, so this doesn't really apply so much to us. It does hit our headlights and part of the grill, but we spray a bug and tar on the front areas that get hit by bug and tar, and then right above the windshield right here gets hit with bugs, and we spray that on there and wash the car. By the time you're done washing and you get back around to the front again, those little buggies have started to disintegrate and soften up, and most of them will just come off with a spray. And then you can start to wash. You don't want to take a rag and start rubbing really hard trying to get those little buggies and tar off the car, because all that rubbing is going to rub little spots everywhere, and you can't get those off. So let the chemicals do the work for you and loosen all that up so that you can spray most of that off or wipe it off. Anything you have to sit and go like this, you're hurting the paint. Don't do that. So let the chemicals do the work for you. And it sounds stupid because you're like, I don't want to spend all this money on all these chemicals. You don't want to spend the money on repainting your front grille. So let the chemicals work on the buggies and loosen them up and get them off. Okay, we talked about direction. We talked about wheels. Brake dust is not your friend, which is why you want to spray the wheels and let them sit. Again, I'm going to go back to Adams because that's what I know. There's a lot of products out there that have stuff. I use Adams and it turns it all purple and it just starts to fall off. And then when you spray it, most of it comes off. After that's all done, that's when I start to get the shampoo in there and my wheel brush and get in there and get it all nice and clean. Now that's not detailing. That's just getting it washed. So that's where the sponges and the wheel brushes and all that fun stuff comes in handy. Depends on what kind of setup you have as far as wheels, whether you can get in there with your hands and a sponge, or you got to get in there with one of those long brushes. What kind of surface of your wheel do you have? That's going to depend on what kind of brush you use. If you've got a softer surface wheel, you don't want to get in there with anything really, really agitating because it could scratch the surface of your wheels. Have your wheels been painted? You don't want to really get anything aggravating in there either because it could scratch the paint on your wheels. So just know your surface and be careful with what you put as a cleaner on your wheels if you have a treated surface for your wheels as well, because some things will change the makeup of your wheels. So know your vehicle before you start spraying that stuff on them. Stock wheels, you can go crazy on those with any of those sprays, and it won't hurt them. I think I've covered a lot, and I think I probably jumped all over the place too. Does anybody have any question? I've heard that using an RV charcoal filter is supposed to prevent water spots. RV charcoal filter. Explain that, Sean. What do you mean by an RV charcoal filter? Like, where does this charcoal filter go? Charles, Andy listens most of the time. At the end of the hose. I will definitely look into that because that is definitely something that it attaches to the drinking hose on an RV. Is the drinking hose on an RV, though, a little bit smaller than the hose that attaches to, like, the side of your house that you would use for it's a standard hose? The RV hose is the same size as a standard garden hose? I always remembered the hoses on my family's RV to be, like, smaller. Hi, Laura. Convertible. Like, on a current car, like the ones that are kind of fabricy, like a 5th gen, 6th gen?
That's Glenn's wife, babe.
That's that's cool, Gypsy. I did not know that they were the same. I'm gonna look into that because that would be really cool if you could stick some, and how long would that last? Like, how many gallons can go through that? And how expensive are they? That would be really interesting because if they're not expensive, even if they were only 1 per wash, that would still be worth it. Panther convertible. I have never owned a convertible, but I do know several people that have, and I know that they have always power washed their convertible tops and then just left it open to dry them out in the sun. And I've never had any problems with them, like, leaking through or anything weird like that. Um, but if you give me till next Girl Cave, I will get you a better answer for that because I do not have experience with that. But I will find out for you. I've never in my life owned, well, that's not true. I did own 1 convertible, but I don't think I ever had a top for it, and I never took it out with the top. Oh, wait, my Jeep was a soft top, and I power washed it, and I never had any problems with it. If it's the same kind of fabric as the soft top on my Jeep, I just power washed it. But let me find out for you just to make sure that it's the same on the Camaro. Because my Jeep got, like, dirty, like, trash dirty, like, in the going mudding and stuff like that. So if I just washed it, the dirt was still kind of in the fabric, which is why we power washed it. So Linda, your convertibles, you just hosed it off and it was good to go? No problems? Did you do any Linda, let me ask you that, did you do anything to treat it so that it stayed, nice and didn't discolor, or did you have any conditioner or anything that you did to it? I have 0 experience with convertible Camaros.
It's a coop household.
I know there's a delay when you ask a question and somebody has to type. Give Linda a second to Charles says 303 cleaner and protection. That's what works on the convertibles? I can't believe I've gone this many years and never had to work on a convertible before. Every convertible that I have ever detailed has always been brand new, and I've never had to touch the top. And a lint roller. Yeah, see, the top on my convertible car was vinyl. It was way back in the day. And I used some kind of plastic spray on it or whatever. Lint roller before the show. Okay. Laura, does that help you at all, or I'm getting schooled here about convertible tops. I've got this like super serious look on my face. Sorry guys, but I'm learning something right now. I'm super excited. I have a girlfriend in Oklahoma who has a convertible, and I'm going to reach out to her because she's had nothing but convertibles for the last 3 Camaros she's had. So I'm going to ask her too. I would imagine if somebody brought me a Camaro and the top was really bad, I would imagine I would probably just scrub it with a brush, like wet scrub it with a brush and power wash it off and try that. But Laura, I'm betting yours isn't that bad. I can't imagine that it's that dirty. But if you get yourself into a situation where it does find itself getting dirty on a trip, maybe keep a brush like that, like a hard bristled brush with you in your cleaning kit so that you have that option to like brush it to break up whatever's in it and then spray it off. Linda, does that kind of sound like, am I sending her in the right direction? And I guess you convertible owners are going to have to add lint rollers to your kits. I'm going to have to put a lint roller in my kit for you guys. So if anybody finds themselves without, they can come borrow. I would imagine a lint roller would not be that bad of a thing to have in your car kit anyways, because if you have cloth seats, that would be a pretty good thing to have in your arsenal.
Check out Linda's comment.
Lint roller in each car. Yeah. No, we're going to have to get one for... Yeah, pantyhose work really good too with getting fuzz off of clothing. We'd be looking all kinds of crazy trying to run some pantyhose over the top of a Camaro in a parking lot. Nothing to see here. Keep moving. It's just me, my pantyhose, and my Camaro. Nothing to see. Might be a little easier to explain the lint roller than the pantyhose. Huh. I've got some extra stuff to add to a couple of the Camaros now. Most definitely, we're going to have to add a lint roller to Shamrock because she has cloth interior. Andy's standing at me with this like look on his face. You're going to do what to my car?
What are you doing?
All right, so I went over a lot tonight with cleaning your Camaro.
Talking about the Panther welcome kits. People keep asking about.
We still have shirts, ladies and gentlemen that have joined us tonight. We still have the shirts. Yeah, Charles, no, we're not taking anything else off. The pantyhose are going to come right out of their package. Look, I don't even think I have pantyhose that I own that I've worn. So, guys, we still have these shirts with the Camaro Cave logo over your heart. And the Scott Settlemeyer Keep the Faith across your back with Scott Settlemeyer's name. And the Camaro Cave on the top. This one is the cotton. We make it in the dry fit as well. If you guys have not put your order in for your shirts or your hat yet, please get it in. We have 26 or 29 orders in, so we're getting close. We don't mind buying 10 or 15 shirts to carry around with us and sell out of the back of our cars. But I don't want to buy like 20 or 30 of them and carry them around in the back of my car because we barely have enough room in the back of the car as it is. And it looks like we're going to be driving around the 6th gens this year a lot. So we're not going to be rocking 5th gen trunk room. So if you guys don't mind, I'd like to get these shirts ordered, have them owned and off to their owners pretty quickly. And so 25 for the cotton shirts, 30 for the dry fit, and I think 30 for the hats. So if you don't have your name down already, please get them in so that those who already do have their orders in that are like biting at the chomp to get theirs can get theirs soon. Great deal. They're good shirts. They're Gildan shirts. And the hats were, I don't even remember what the hats were, but they were like a high quality hat too. So we've got those. And guys, if you're in here right now, please subscribe and like if you like what you're seeing. Even if you don't like what you're seeing, still like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We could use as many Camaro people in here and even non-Camaro people in here as we can get. We need all the love to keep the Camaro alive. So please help us by spreading the word. And then one more thing that I wanted to talk about, because I did see this come up a few times. We are still getting emails about the posters and watches and basically the gift that comes with your Panther cars. So I thought I'd go over that again. I did send a couple emails out today in response. So if you got okay, Linda, we'll talk about the suede interior. You're talking about your Alcantara. There is a trick for that. I will talk to you about that in just a second.
That's a big deal.
That's huge. That's I remember when I first got my Alcantara, I was like, oh my God, this is like all matted up and nasty. Let me just address this, the presents that come with the Panthers, and then we'll get right back to that real quick. That is a detailing trick, and I did say we weren't going to talk about that tonight, but I will, just because I know that that's something that is starting to come up.
No hand
So, yeah, don't use hand sanitizer on your Alcantara. Don't do that. So your presents that are supposed to come with your ZL1, they don't just come. They don't know where to send them if you don't follow the procedure that goes along with this. So when you buy your Panther, if you buy your Panther from a dealership, your dealership takes all kinds of information from you, your email, your name, your all that stuff, right? Then they send all that stuff to GM. GM sends you an email, and it basically says, hey, thanks for buying your, brand new blah, blah, blah. They usually send that to everybody that buys a brand new GM car. But specifically this one comes to you because it's a Panther. And it asks you some questions, gets some information from you, i.e., what is your mailing address? Did you really buy this Panther? Blah, blah, blah. They ask you a couple of questions. You send the email back. This comes to you
60 days.
About 60 days after you buy the car. So if you've had your car for more than 60 days and you have not gotten this email, and it comes from a GM address, not from your dealership, but your dealership has to let GM know about it. So you have to get on your dealership if you've not gotten this. If it's been 60 days or more since you brought your Panther home, since you signed for it, then you need to get a hold of your dealership. So you bought your Panther. Within 60 days, you get the email. You send the email in, and as soon as they have it, 2 to 6 weeks later, you should have your gifts. If you purchased a Panther ZL1, you're looking for a watch and some posters, and it's going to come in a huge box. I know it makes no sense because it's a watch and some posters, but it comes in a ginormous box. If you bought a non-ZL1 Panther, you're looking for a ginormous envelope that says GM all over it, and it's going to have 2 posters in it. It is 4 posters, but they are double-sided. So you got to decide which side you're going to display if you're going to display them. So 4 posters. And there was a letter and some other things, and it was a really cool envelope inside the big envelope, and it was a really neat gift. But if you have not received this yet, guys, then don't go after GM because they don't know what's happening. You got to go to your dealership. If your dealership dropped the ball, then you got to ride them on it. And if your dealership keeps dropping the ball, then you have no choice but to go to customer service at GM. And what's going to be happening then is you're going to be turning your dealership in. So you're going to have to go to customer care and tell them that you have told your dealership over and over and over that you haven't gotten the email and you fear that your dealership has not turned in the information to let GM know that you bought this vehicle, who can you talk to so that they know that you purchased your ZL1 Panther or your other than ZL1 Panther, so that you can get your welcome kit from GM. I mean, especially if you have a ZL1, that's a $2,000 watch that, you paid for that. That was part of the price of your car. You deserve to get that. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't and you need all this information to be sent to you in an email, then email us and we'll send all this information to you in an email as well. But we have no magic trick to help you get this. Nobody has a magic trick. You have to go to your dealership and start that process. And if they don't do it for you, that's the process. Okay.
Should bring that up because people in our area.
Suede seats. If you have Alcantara in your Camaro, which quite a few of them do. Pretty much all the Panthers do, unless you opted out of those. If you have a ZL1, you probably have Alcantara. I think a lot of the LT1s have Alcantara. All the 1LEs have it. Like, there's a bunch of Camaros out there. Back in the day, if you got any Recaro seat, you got the Alcantara. It was really hard to get a Recaro seat without it. So if you have that, that means your seats are that fluffy suede type thing. Your gear shift is that fluffy suede. Your steering wheel is that fluffy suede. And your steering wheel and especially if your gear shift is, if your car's a manual, then you're on that, like holding that all the time. So your steering wheel and your gear shift are probably all matted down and gross and dirty. Oh, and your console between the two seats is gotten pretty gross. So there is a couple of products that you can get. I will get the name of the one that I like. And where to get it. I will get that for you guys for Cave next week. But there's a couple of other ones that are out there that are really readily available. They're okay. I've used them in a pinch. 3M makes one, and I think Turtle makes one. They're okay.
Like turtle wax?
I don't highly recommend them, but if it's the only thing available to you, they're okay. And they're foam, and you spray the foam, and you have a special like kind of brush, and then you agitate the product and wipe the product off. And it's very similar to cleaning a stain on your carpet. And then once you get it cleaned, there's a brush that you can just keep in your center console. And every now and then you just brush your surfaces and it will fluff them back up again. This is not a surface that you want to soak down to clean. You want to use this dry foam to clean this surface. If you get a stain or something weird like that, like somebody spills something on your seat, like coffee, you spill a coffee, or I don't take food in my car. If anybody ever spilled something in my car like that, I think I'd lose my, what. There's just, those things are not allowed in my car. So if anything got spilt in my car, somebody's dying other than water. Should something get spilt in your car, you can get a stain remover to help get the stain out and then go through this process. Treat the Alcantara like you would treat white carpet in your home. That's what I'll tell you. So you'll be dry treating it and then rubbing it. That's the best, I guess, comparison I can give you. You're not going to treat it like you would treat a couch. You're not going to treat it like you would treat cloth interior. You're not going to treat it like you would treat leather interior. You do not want to get this soaking wet. You will ruin it. So that's the best way to do that. But the one that I like the most, Linda, I will probably just send it to you offline as well. But next week, it's got a weird name, and I never can keep this name in my head. I can have the can in my hand and still not remember what the damn thing is called, but I will find out for you. I will even find a vendor for you, Linda, and tell you where to get this from.
Did Adams make them?
No, they don't. Andy was just asking me if Adams makes a product for it, and I don't think they do. And if they did, I didn't like it or something because I used something totally different. But this one product I really liked, and I can't remember what happened to the interior of the ZL1, but something got on the interior of the ZL1, and we tried a few things. Somebody recommended this to us, and it came right out, and that's why I swear by this. And this is not cheap stuff to keep your Alcantara updated. So
Did you see it on your Amazon? Did you find it on Amazon?
it might be. I don't think I got it on Amazon, though. I think I had to go directly to the site. So anyways, I will find out what that stuff is called for all you guys, because now there are so many cars, so many different levels of Camaro that have this Alcantara in it. So I will find out what that stuff is called. That way you guys aren't going into AutoZone and buying this other stuff. Like I said, if you're in an emergency situation and you have to go into AutoZone and buy this stuff that's already on the shelf, then so be it. That's what you have to do. But if you can get ahead of it and get this stuff online, I recommend you do it. They do have a bath too that you can buy for it. But I love this this stuff. No, that's not it. It's in a aerosol can. It looks like a bug spray can, but it's not. Anybody have any other questions?
Isn't it Sonax?
I think it is called Sonax. It's in like a white can. Oh yeah, baby, good job. That's it. Look at Andy. Okay, guys, this is it. It's called Sonax. I was thinking it started with an O, but it's called Sonax. I will still get the information.
You used their products before. Sonax is good.
I will get that all like documented and everything, and have you guys places where you can go get it. But it is called Sonax, and you want to use a nice firm brush, not a soft brush, but not a hard brush. Then keep that solely for just your Alcantara. So
and don't put the hand sanitizer on your hands and then touch your Alcantara.
Yeah, and Andy said, "Did you do that?"
No, I've heard so many stories of people that did, because then it turns white.
Yeah, and guys, be careful with with your Alcantara, especially now, because everybody's so like germophobic and all that stuff. Like if you put hand sanitizer or hand lotion or something on your hands, give your hands time to soak all that in and rest before you go grabbing your Alcantara, because that will jack up your Alcantara. It's not a natural product. It's a fake suede. It's a very, very expensive fake suede. So protect it. It does not like heat either. So if your car is out in the heat for direct sunlight for any kind of long periods of time, try to find a way to protect it, like drape something over it, do something to help protect your car. Get one of those things that you put in the window. Baby, what are you doing? Put no, just let it get in your hands first, Charles. You don't have to wear gloves. But try to protect it from the sun and stuff like that, because the sun will beat the crap out of it too. It's a fake surface. So be very, very kind to your Alcantara. Protect it. It doesn't hurt to spray it with that protectant, kind of like you do your shoes. get one of those and
Yeah, like you protect your suede shoes, like
yeah,
like on your Uggs. That's right.
the kind of spray that you spray like your suede boots, like your suede shoes, Ugg spray or one of those. Spray your Alcantara with that. That'll help protect it too. It'll give it some UV protection and some pile protection. It'll keep the pile from getting all matted. Alrighty, guys, we've been on here for an hour. It's been fun. I hope that the information that I've shared with you was good. Yes, Andy is making popcorn. It feels like he's making it right here, and he's way over there.
Someone asked.
That was, again, y'all, just cleaning. That had nothing to do with clay barring, paint correction. That had nothing to do with detailing. Oh, one last thing that I'll leave you as far as washing your car. Have a designated kit for washing and a designated place for washing. Don't change up your place that you go all the time. Always have a good solid routine for it so that it's the same all the time.
Multiple
Always take lots of stuff with you when you're on trips so that you don't run out. We talked about, I think on one of the caves, we talked about taking the little pods with you so that when you're on a trip, you can wash your rags if the availability is there to do so. Always having your trunk ready to go and know where the car washes are before you leave for your trip. So when we leave for a car trip, if we're both in the same car, I'm already searching out those kind of things before we even get there. So I know that when we get to the hotel, in this direction, there's 2, in this direction, there's 3. Which one has the water that's filtered? Which one doesn't? What kind of neighborhood is it in? Is the car going to be safe? When is it open? Is it open 24/7? How close is it? Do I think 50 Camaros are already going to be there when we get there? Which one do I think is going to be the least busy? Like, I always look into all that stuff before we get there. And we try to make sure that we give plenty of time to get there and get the car washed. We're not like getting the car washed an hour before we think we're supposed to be somewhere to show it. Because if there's 32 other people trying to do that, then you're not going to make the show. We try to get the cars washed as soon as we get there. And we try, if we're going to the same show over and over and over and over, we try to make sure that we always use the same car wash every single time we go. I know it sounds like redundant and like creature of habit-ish, but you're apt to make less mistakes or hurt your car if you're familiar with the surroundings that you and the car are in than if you're constantly trying something new. You're not going to go in a driveway that maybe isn't a great driveway and rip the front end of your car off because it's a brand new place and you've never been there before. If you know the place, it's safer for you. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Just always be prepared. And if you ever have any questions or if you're not prepared and we're there, you could probably bet your buns that my trunk has whatever you're looking for. So come find me and I'll be happy to share. All right. Peace out, guys, and have a great weekend. And we'll see you guys out there soon. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe. Tell your friends about us, and we will see you guys next week. Peace out. I don't know how to end this.